So let's talk a little bit about the tide pools themselves. We know that they're places of water left in the rocks when the tide has gone out. What kinds of things live in the tide pools? Crabs. What else? Sea stars. Good job. That's what we're going to call them today. We're being scientists. So even though we all grew up calling them starfish, are they a fish? Do they have fins? Do they have bones? No, so we're going to call them sea stars. Crabs, sea stars, anemones. And look out there over those rocks. Our tide pools are covered in seaweed. So this is an example of one of the kinds of seaweed that lives just off the edge of the tide pools. But look how slimy and sticky and slippery it is. Do you think this would be fun to step on? No, this is dangerous to step on, so we're going to be really careful where we go. Because if you put this down, your foot's going to go whoo out from underneath you. So, where do you think the best place to step might be? Away from the seaweed. So we're going to step on bare rock as much as possible. So that's going to protect us because we're not going to step on slimy, slippery seaweed. And it's also going to protect the creatures that live out there, those crabs, those sea stars, the anemones, the really cool things that we can find in the tide pools. Because the tide pools are an amazing place. It's incredibly harsh. There's waves smashing on them multiple times a day. Part of the time they're under the water, part of the time they're out in the air. They've got predators trying to eat them. They have different levels of temperature and salt. I wouldn't be able to live there, would you? No, but these animals are perfectly adapted to it. They live here quite happily. But one thing they're not adapted to is our feet. So we're going to be very careful where we step. There are soft, squishy things that if we poke them too much or step on them, they'll lose all their water and dry up and they could die. There are hard, crunchy things that even though they might seem like good traction, can be scraped off or broken by our feet. So we want to be extra careful where we step to protect these animals. Another thing it's important to watch out for when you're going out to an area is knowing the rules of the area. Here at South Cove, and actually all of these parks areas, this is a protected wildlife place. It's called a marine research reserve. So the land is protected for scientists studying. So you can take all the pictures and all the memories you want, but we ask you please leave the animals and everything else as you found it. If you want to pick up something that's loose, like a crab, we ask you to do it very gently, carefully. Use 2 hands cupped and hold them down really low. Because I've seen it too many times. Somebody finds something awesome and goes, look what I found! And the crab goes, whoo, onto the rocks.